Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're having an incredible weekend with you and your family. Ryan, good to have you again tonight on
How
the
you doing?
show. What's that?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Finally getting over my cold. Had
You
laryngitis
sound a lot
for,
better.
yeah. So last Sunday we jumped on the stream and man, I sounded like a frog, man. It was pretty rough.
I mean, you could say that you sounded like you had a good voice, depending on what side of the railroad tracks you were on. I mean,
Or I could
you
say
have
I
a
was
good
finally went through
voice, or
puberty. I mean, I don't
maybe. I
know.
mean, that's definitely possible. That's definitely possible. But I'm glad you're
Yeah,
feeling
man.
better.
I am
Interesting topic
absolutely.
today, so I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, definitely. Before we jump into it, a couple of quick things. Or actually, not really necessarily quick things. Say hi to some folks in the chat. Matt is here. Good to see you, man. Let's see. How do you pronounce that? I'm just gonna say Blitzer. That'd be easier for me to say. Blitzer
It's
Bernard,
easier.
glad you're here, brother. C3D, Terminator Juice. Good to see you guys, man. Hope y'all are having an incredible week. And let me know where you're watching from. Always like seeing kind of all over the world where we got people that jump in the chat and participate in the discussion. Today, we're going to be talking about a fun topic. I'll just put it up here real quick, and then we'll do a little side caveat, and then we'll get into it. So, the topic we're going to be talking about is what makes a home theater comfortable. We're going to be talking about some different things that you can do in your theater room that can kind of create a really cool environment for you and for your guests and your family and friends. So, I think it's going to definitely be kind of a unique topic that I know I've never addressed that on my channel. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so Ryan, you got some new stuff. I know we're always,
Hmm.
upgrading and adding and doing this and tweaking this. And I was talking with you earlier, and you're like, placed an order for some cool stuff.
Yeah,
So
we did. So I've
kind
had
kind of fill us in, man. What do you got going on in your theater
so
room?
the latest thing that I've ordered was the Valencia Tuscany XL Ultimates,
Yeah, let me throw
which
those up there.
I'm really excited about. So I've had experience and sat in these in a few different people's theaters.
Cool.
Um, I'm just really excited to have a seat that actually fits me because
Yeah.
I don't know how many of your viewers know, but I'm a big guy. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
6'5", 270. I'm not small by any
Yeah.
stretch of the means. So any furniture that I buy in my home is needs to be large. Like
Yeah.
all of our couches are big because I don't like in my house, I don't like sacrificing my comfort just for
Yeah.
what normal size people I guess would want. Nothing wrong with
Sure.
that. It's just
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. So Valencia came out with these XL seats. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
it's like they were made for me. So I'm
The
really
big
excited.
the big boy
The big
seats.
boy seats. I'm really excited about them. Everybody loves my couch that's in my theater showroom right now, but it's
Yeah.
moving over to the demo setup. And the demo setup needed something new because it's right now we're using nuggets, which are like kids kind of foam couch things that they can build forts out of.
There you go.
They work really well. They're
Yeah.
actually way more comfortable than what people give them credit for. And in December, um, Sock actually fell asleep. He used one as a bed, so
Oh, nice.
they do
Yeah.
decently
Yeah.
well. But I think a couch is definitely the way
Yeah.
to go. So those are coming. That's really exciting. Hopefully they'll be
Yeah.
here this week. So I'm
Cool.
also just became a dealer for Valencia. So if anybody needs anything,
Super
let
cool.
me know. The other exciting stuff is I have a relationship with Sony.
Yeah.
So I work for anybody that doesn't know. Another job that I do is I work for Mad VR on the Envy, and I run and have set up all of their support systems and continue to run all of their technical support. So
Mhm.
it's good. I have a relationship with Sony, not only as a dealer, but because of that. So right now I have a demo Sony 7000 ES, which is Sony's latest laser projector. And it's
Yeah.
really
Nice.
interesting to be able to directly compare it to the NZ9 because I have the NZ9 in my showroom right now.
Hmm.
So seeing Sony's top dog against JVC's top dog, and we did this last night. I had a few guys over and we did a comparison.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting. So this JVC, we won't go into it deeply right now, but the JVC does better at some things and the Sony does better at some things.
Yeah.
But the most interesting part of this was how vastly different their tone mapping was because
Okay.
we did Envy for
Interesting.
part of it,
Yeah.
but we took Envy out and the second half, and the tone mapping is just totally different
Okay.
between the two.
Cool.
And that gives you an idea of how have you been watching your content and which one
Mhm.
is right? So
Yeah.
that's just something that I don't think anybody thinks about. I don't
Yeah.
really think about all that too often, all that often. but having those things directly next to each other, no tone mapping being shared between them, having them both do their own thing,
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see how vastly different the picture was. Like there was a scene from Spears and Munsell on a sky, and one of them had a blue sky,
Okay.
and the other one was like a brownish white. So they weren't even the same.
I don't know if I've seen a brown sky, man. That's
Well, it's
interesting.
like a sunset
Okay.
type reddish thing.
Gotcha. Like a
I don't
burgundy
know.
kind of deal
Yeah,
or something.
kind of.
Mm.
And the other one had blue. So it was very interesting
Yeah.
that they weren't even close. Like it wasn't just two shades of blue.
Right.
One had blue
Yeah.
and one didn't. It was very interesting.
Yeah. Very
So
cool,
that's
man.
what we've been doing. But I'm really
Yeah.
excited about today's topic because I don't think this gets enough
No,
time.
no, it's definitely something different. And so before we jump into that, we'll see who we got in the chat over here. We got some folks from Michigan. Appreciate you being here. Cali, Montreal, Willis Tower. I love it when guys are like, "Hey man, I'm working." I'm like, "Oh man, don't get me in trouble." You know, I want your boss going, "You watching that youth man dude again?"
Yeah, but
You
they can
know,
come over and be like, "You watching Youth Man? That guy's awesome."
I hope
Could
so.
go
I
either way.
hope so. Oh, kind of interesting little side note. We went on the cruise to St. Thomas, St. Martin, and Coco Cay.
Mhm.
And as we get on the boat and we're going down the hallway and getting ready to put our bags in a room, and I walk by this dude and he's like, "Hey, are you Youth Man?" I was like, "Oh, dude, that's pretty cool." So had a chance to meet one of my subscribers. So that was really cool. So if you're watching, man, it's great meeting you and your family. Get a little selfie with him. And so super cool, man.
That's
But I really love interacting with you guys. I really, really do. Anytime I get a chance to either message you on Facebook or an email or through the chat or Patreon or even in person, I'm really excited about M-Wave. We'll get a chance to hang out with you guys for 3 days up in Kansas City, July 22nd through the 24th. So if you're going to be in that area, or if you just want to make the trip, man, we'd love to have you come out. You can check out all the details at midwestaviexperience.com. So Ryan, let's go ahead and jump into the topic for tonight.
Yeah. So
Just
this
throw that
topic's
up
an
there.
interesting one. It's what makes a home theater comfortable. And I don't, it's not necessarily just the chairs. It's, in my opinion, it's what makes a home theater more easily approachable, easier to use, and what's going to make you want to use it more. People put in these awesome home theaters, and then you have to have 15 different remotes and an engineering degree to be able to interact with them. And a lot of times, the seating isn't all that great, and there's just a multitude of different things that take away from your experience. And if people spent a little bit more time, not necessarily a ton of money, sometimes no money,
Yeah.
it vastly improves your theater or media experience. And I think people just need to think about it a little bit more time, slow down, get off of like the projector, the video and audio bandwagon for a little bit, and think about what is going to improve your experience. And that's important, but people overlook it a lot. Like you're going to buy cars. Everybody a lot of times wants the biggest, baddest engine, the fastest car possible, but they fail to think, how comfortable is this thing going to be?
Exactly.
To drive and be stuck.
Long trip. So before we kind of jump into like what we think, I'd love to hear from you in the chat.
Absolutely.
What makes a theater room comfortable to you? Like what are some aspects that you really want to focus on, whether you've already done that or something that you want to improve in your home theater, or maybe you're building a home theater or would like to have a home theater one day? What are some things that would make that comfortable? And here's an example here. We got Terminator. He says, for me, comfort is being in a quiet room with climate control and good acoustic treatment, and also having seating that doesn't make my back, and I'm gonna throw in my butt hurt. You know,
Man, butt hurt is a tough.
I love how he mentioned several things. So climate control, my room, horrendous. Okay,
really?
Yes, you shut the door. We built our home in, well, I guess 15 years ago, and so it's about 30. I think it's 3,400 square feet. So it's not like massive home, but it's not a small home. I think it's got like a 2-ton unit outside, but it's just one unit. And I think what happened is the builder put in, the bare minimum for this spec house, and or maybe they just didn't run the ducts right or something, because there are two sides, the side of the room or side of the home where the theater room is, and my daughter's room, which is right next to it. Both of those get really hot, especially if you shut the door. So as soon as you shut the door, you've got all the electronics in there. Fortunately, my projector is now out of the room, but when it was in the room, that added to it. And so really thinking through, like, how am I going to keep this room cool when I put 4 people in it, when I put 6 people in it, when I put 8 people, or however many theater seats you've got, or
Right.
bean bags or couches or whatever. And when I add my amplifiers, and when I add this and I add that, my projector or my TV, all of that stuff contributes to that overall or the overall temperature of that room.
Mhm.
And so I think climate control is a huge aspect of
It
that.
is.
I've considered, man, should I add like a split unit? I think they call it, or a mini split or something like that. There's a lot of different things. I even ran into some guys and they said they've got their setup when they turn on their equipment, it's set up through their like Harmony Elite or Control 4. It tells their Nest to drop it down at 5 or 6 or 7 degrees. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That makes a lot of sense, man. And so
my mic any better?
things like that is definitely a good thing. Good acoustic treatment. I kind of thinking through that, like how would acoustic treatment contribute to the overall comfort of the room? Is that are you talking like the vibe of the room, or are we
could
talking
talk about like harshness or
okay,
like
that
leaving
makes sense.
headache and distortion.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
playing a factor.
And then of course
I think is part of it too.
Yeah,
and coupling ambiance with lighting.
Yeah, and I'd love to. We'll kind of jump down that trail for a while. I think I like your thinking right here, man. Just get butt naked and watch a movie. Pooter, with a name like Pooter, man, I would expect nothing less, bro. That's awesome. So hopefully, it's just you and the significant other, your wife or whoever, man, or you by yourself, man. Go all out. Now, if you got a big party,
depends on the kind of party.
That's a different kind of a gathering there. So cool deal. Mad says plush carpet. I'll tell you what's interesting. I've been to a bunch of different home theaters, and there are a few, like one I can remember specifically. It was Laura, and oh my goodness, I forgot his name now, but it was a couple in Chicago. And when you walk in, their carpet, no lie, dude, they wanted the old school shag carpet. But I'll be honest with you, dude, it was so comfy, man. It was really plush, like your toes go in the carpet like that. It was really cool. So definitely, I think carpet is something that we kind of overlook when we're building a home theater and building our space. I know for me, the carpet was pretty much already picked out when we had bought the home. It was 2 months from being completed when we bought it. So we really didn't get a chance to pick out a whole lot. And carpet was one of those. And so my theater room is light carpet, and it's really not that thick. So it's not comfortable. And it definitely doesn't look great. So that'll be one thing. Eventually, when I do upgrade my carpet, I want to make sure that I get some darker carpet as well as plush. He says adjustable lighting. Adjustable lighting's huge. So Ryan, talk about your lighting setup, because I know when I first visited you, you did something that was pretty interesting. I had never seen that done.
Well, before I go down that rabbit hole, is my mic any better? I turned off echo cancellation. It seemed to have brought it back on accidentally. I don't know where it came from, but it's off now. So Kevin, hopefully that's
so
better.
Weird.
And I turned up the volume a little bit. If I need to go up louder, let me know and I can turn it up quickly. The lighting,
you have to memorize like where yours are at, because I don't ever touch mine. My
I don't know why it turned back on. I went and looked at it and it was back on. So something happened, but I don't really know what it was.
Appreciate you letting us know, Kevin.
My theater is a little bit different than most people's because I am a full electrostatic bed layer, which means my mids and tweeters are transparent. For anybody, can you pull up a picture of the Martin Logan's?
Yeah.
Well, you can see them right behind me. Like they're behind me. So you can see an idea of, or have an idea of what they look like. And my entire bed layer's like that. So 11 speakers in my showroom are all like that. So I had the idea of creating ambient lighting. And Michael, you actually may have a picture of it from the home theater tour when you were in Kansas City.
I have my laptop though. Some
LED lights that are on the bezels of my speakers that I can turn on and off on each one of the speakers. So we don't use them for when the movie's on, but when I'm walking down the stairs or if we've decided that we're going to watch a movie, all of my automation is done through Siri. So
Mm-hmm.
you can utilize IP control systems and get really fancy and stuff. But mine, I just use Siri through HomePods, and you can see one of the speakers back there in the back right corner with it on.
Make it bigger.
But
yeah, it'll pan over here.
I walk down the stairs and just say, "Hey Siri, set pre-show." Hopefully she doesn't do it right now, and she turns on all my gear, all of my amplifiers, and these lights. So she'll turn on the house lights, and then she'll turn on all the speaker lights, and it's just really cool to walk into a room with an ambiance that makes it feel like a movie theater, right? It just takes it to the next level. And then when we're ready and we've picked a movie, I can just tell her movie starting. She turns all the lights off, and it just makes it a much more approachable experience.
Yeah.
And it's so much better that my wife will actually use it. And she will go down by herself and turn on a movie because she just has to talk to Siri, and Siri will do it for her, which makes it easy. And so many people want all of this stuff, but then they forget, how can I make this simple? How can I make this more approachable? Oh yeah, that projector, Terminator Juice bringing up the projector. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that projector, side note or anecdote here, I had an NX7. This was before I became a dealer. I had an NX7. I was getting ready for the NZ9 or the new RS refresh.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got delayed after I sold my NX7 because I didn't want to sell it too late. I was trying to maximize the amount of money I would get on the return, right? Because I didn't want to wait and have the market flooded. So I sold it, and then they delayed it. And I'm like, man, this is sucking. And I tried not using my theater for a while. Didn't go very well. I was just bored. So then I thought, well, everybody talks really well about the LG. So I got the LG. The LG, oh my.
And I got to witness that.
You did. So we referred to it. I refer to it as the God projector, sarcastically, like it's the best projector ever. It's not. It was terrible. It had gradients in two directions, vertically and horizontally. It was impossible to calibrate. The guy spent an hour and a half just trying to fix minute, just trying to make it in any way, shape, or form better, and it was not possible. Now, I don't know if I got a horrific unit or what, but it was gone. I bought it off Amazon during their holiday thing, so I had a 3-month return window. It got sent back, and I ended up going down the NZ series rabbit hole and went NZ7, NZ8, and then an NZ9, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So there's an NZ9 hanging its spot and a lot more acoustical treatments. The room's changed quite a bit since Michael's been here, so it'll be interesting to see what he thinks
I'm
coming
excited,
back.
Man, I'm excited to see the changes, man. And here you got near field sub, you got well, I've seen your new projector, the NZ9.
Yeah, were you here when the butt kickers were here?
I haven't. Yeah, you had like 30 of them.
There's not. Yeah.
He's got a few in there.
Yeah,
I think there was 8. I think
there's 9. Yeah, so there's 9. We'll have the Valencias, the near field, the Perlissons are in there now with the Martin Logan. So I haven't even had a chance to calibrate those.
So you have the Perlisson in your theater room, or is it in the other room?
No, so I've got the bookshelves in the demo area, and then the S7Ts are sitting right next to the ones that are behind me. So what you guys see behind me is actually my showroom. Yeah, and the Perlissons are sitting on the outsides of these speakers. So like out there on the outsides.
Nice.
So, but I haven't had time to do anything. Kevin, glad the mic's doing better, but I kind of went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
What do you think? I think lighting is really important. And I also think seating is really important, hence me having a couch with 2 chases, but now I'm putting in these chairs to try something different. But what are your biggest things, Michael? What do you think gets you in the theater more?
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, like, I just figure I'm going to be in there for a long time, at least 2 hours is what you're thinking. So we're either watching a movie. Lately, I've been playing a lot of video games. I'm not a gamer, but I went through Last of Us 2, Last of Us. I'm going through Until Dawn now, and so usually Jessica will go to bed. She's usually in bed by 9, and so I'll play from like 9 to midnight. So I'm in there for 3 hours, and so I always wanted nice theater seating from the beginning when we decided that, hey, we want to have a dedicated space in our home that's not in our living room. I wanted to make sure that I had dedicated theater seating. Now, Jessica would love to have a like a sectional in there. And I'm just thinking, she's like, because that way we can talk. And I'm thinking, darling, that's not what a theater room is for.
That way
That's
we
what
can talk.
that's what the living room is
But
for, you
what?
know?
Why? How does a sectional make it so you can talk where a
'Cause you
seat
could,
doesn't?
well, she's thinking like maybe like an L shape so you can see each other. And I'm like, no, that's not working in my theater room. Yeah, that's not
I
what it's
get
for.
one room in this house.
Yeah, that was the agreement. Actually, that was the agreement. She's like, you can do whatever you want in there. Uh, but the rest of the house is mine. I'm like, deal, dude. I'll take that deal any day. And
Mhm.
she's held to it. She don't care what I do in there. If I want to put big speakers in there, if I want to change out the seating or whatever.
Mhm.
So, but to me, I mean, I think seating. So, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. I mean, I know
Mm-mm.
you just got the luxury edition, and I've got the luxury up front, and I've got the original Tuscany's in the rear.
But I did that.
Um,
I bought that because I'm a dealer, right? And I
correct.
want to make
Yeah.
sure that people can see everything because it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's one thing to go in with like the lowest option and then try to
Yeah.
explain what the higher
What,
things
sure.
are.
How
It's a
it's going
lot
to
easier
feel.
to say, hey, here, there's this, but
Right.
take away this and you have this option, right? So
Sure.
I wouldn't
But
necessarily have bought those if I wasn't a dealer.
right. So where I'm going with this is I went the used market. So 15
Yeah.
years ago, I'm like, you know, we didn't even have, I think the only company out about that time was like Seatcraft.
Mm-hmm.
There
Man, they've
might
been
have been
around for
one.
a while.
Yeah, there might have been one other company. There really wasn't a lot of them out there. Valencia wasn't on the scene or anything. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had started looking around and we were going to like Ashley furniture stores and Haverty's and things like that. And really didn't find any there. And they were a little bit more than what I was wanting to spend. And so my first set of seats, I looked on Craigslist and found a guy. It was about an hour. I guess he's about an hour away over in Orlando. And so he said, hey, this was at the time where the housing market was pretty much crashing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had a second home. He was a realtor and or was at least in real estate. And he had a second home that had a theater room. And he's like, man, these things are barely used. He said, I spent like $3,000 on the seats for 3 of them. I paid the extra to get them sealed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid $750 for them. They looked brand new. Now they had no features. I mean, they were just very comfortable, and they did have cup holders, but that was it. You know, they had electric recline, but none of the bells and whistles that modern day seating have. The USB-C and
I'm
LED
excited about that.
lighting and the
That's gonna be amazing.
headrest and the lumbar. They didn't have none of that, but they were very comfortable. So that was $750. And then I got a text message from a neighbor that was in real estate. And she said, hey, Michael, we have one of our model centers that is, you know, they're finishing up that development and they're going to be selling that home. And we're selling the furniture in the home because the homeowner has their own furniture. And so we have these theater seats. And I thought, you know, you had mentioned a while back you wanted a second set of seats. And so I went and looked at them. They look brand new, man. And so I got those for 600. It was either 600 or 650. Now they were manual recline, nothing fancy again at all. They did have cup holders, and that was
Mm-hmm.
it. So I had like $1,200, $1,400 in 2 sets of seating. And so even the used route, you have to be careful because a lot of times people get rid of seats because they're just falling apart or the leather's
Mm-hmm.
starting to wear out.
Mm-hmm.
But there are honestly still a lot of people that they're like, look, this is something that we don't need, or we found out that we don't want theater seats. We want traditional sofa or something. And sometimes you can get some really, really great deals in the used market. And so so to me, theater seating is huge because you
Yeah.
spend so much time in there. You know, the last thing you want to be doing is watching your favorite marathon of Lord of the Rings and going through all 3 of those, and your back and your butt's all jacked up when you get finished.
It's only 12 hours for the extended collection.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's a long time in the seats. And so to me, that's some key things. We got a bunch of folks that are chiming in here. Ryan says climate control, lighting control, love watching movies in pitch black conditions. However, my wife sometimes wants a lamp on. Nothing wrong with that, man. Got a little
No.
compromise. That just lets you know, like, I mean, where you can snuggle and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So I'm going to do a quick shout out to
Yeah, pop it up there.
the couches that I have. So I actually have 2 different couches in my house, both made by Jonathan Lewis in an accidental fashion. So we bought our first couch not because of a manufacturer, but because it's big in our living room, and it's enormous. You could probably sleep almost as deep as a queen mattress. It's huge,
Yeah.
and that's why I love it, because big furniture, big guy. I love being able to sit like 8 or 9 people around it and not being worried, and then that you can lean back and have the whole second row if you want to behind it. But then we went back to Nebraska Furniture Mart, which is where we bought both of them, and I saw this other one, and it just happened to be by the same manufacturer. So if anybody's looking for couches, right? Jonathan Lewis, for whatever reason, their couches are phenomenal for home theater use. Now, they take forever because they're custom fabrics, but there's been a couple guys in Kansas City that have sat on my couch. Anybody that has sat on my couch that has even been contemplating putting a couch in their theater is like, where did you buy this? What is it called? Where can I get it? Because it's amazing. It's huge. It's nice and comfortable. But Jonathan Lewis makes some awesome stuff. All their stuff is enormous. So if you're looking for couches, this is a good place to look.
Going on, Chana? Chana's in the house, guys. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. Super cool, man. So yeah, so I've sat in all of your your living room set, as well as the ones that was in your previous, and that's definitely a different design and different style. It sleeps comfy, I'll tell you that.
You did sleep on it a couple nights,
dude. Yeah, dude.
Well, on multiple occasions. I think you slept on it once in December, and then you were there a couple days when you were in January, and then we're gonna have a lot more sleeping options available this time around when people are in. But I'm gonna have a lot more people in my basement.
Yeah, man.
So what else aside from seating?
Let's see what else we got here. Acoustic treatment is part of the quiet part. Also, the fact that I'm not looking at blank flat walls.
Somebody brought up a popcorn machine. How do you feel about popcorn machines in a personal sense?
If I had a space, I would want it not necessarily in my theater room. If I had like a foyer or an entryway, I think that would be cool. I don't think I'd want popcorn in the theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be like focused on the movie. I don't want people opening up the popcorn door and it's got a light in it, and then they're scooping out their like, do that in my kitchen, man, or do it out in a foyer.
My worry with popcorn machines is the cleaning part.
Yeah,
because I'm always the type where you'd have stale popcorn from like 7 weeks ago, and then one of my kids would go, "Oh, popcorn," and then want to eat the popcorn. So
they're not getting sick though.
No, just probably be like rocks. I'd have to worry about their teeth.
Kids are resilient, man.
They are. Techno Dad, those are the Renaissance 15As, and then there's an Illusion back there in the middle. So those are in my showroom.
Yeah,
they're I love them.
And his showroom is his basement. I mean, it's like it's part of his home. He's got a beautiful home.
Yeah.
Zombie says he uses colored lighting for the theater room. So again, I think lighting is a big part of creating that cool atmosphere. Let's see. All right. So this is a good one here. So Chris says, one big thing that's important to me is keeping gear away from myself and others to avoid the heat from the electronics and eliminate distractions as well. Definitely, So if you're trying to be fully immersed into the movie, in my case, so I have a cabinet up front, and it does have pretty thick kind of cloth, and it hides for the most part the LED lights behind there, but you can still see them. And so sometimes it is a distraction, Most time I kind of
have you ever thought about putting like electrical tape over them?
Yeah, you can do that, but then what's the point of that?
Not having the lights?
I don't know, man. I want to know that stuff. It's good for me because I'm like, okay, everything's powering up. I see it. Everything's cool. And I know
that's a good point.
It's in sequence, but it's not a distraction to me. But definitely it can be a distraction.
The heat though is a big point.
Yeah, that'll distract you.
Mine's in my room, but it's in like an alcove, and there's a return vent that's in there. So it sucks air in and then goes in through the return vent. So you walk into that room and it's quite warm, but due to the air pressure differences, it never comes back into the room, which is beneficial. But last night, man, having that 7000 and the NZ9 on at the same time, it got quite warm.
Yeah. And then the more bodies you add in the room, the more it heats up as well. So
that is true. Sure. Now, two questions. Does anybody keep their LED lights on if you have them in your theater during a movie? And what does everybody use for remotes?
Yeah.
I'm always interested in that because Logitech's going out, right?
Yep. Yep.
Or they already have with the
Yeah.
Harmony series. You can still buy them used, and I use a Harmony Hub.
Yeah.
But what is everybody using? The Sofa Baton's supposed to be okay.
That's garbage. I'll
Oh,
be honest
well.
with you. I'll be honest with you. Chana will attest to it. He says, man, that thing is just dirt. And so I got one. They had a new one, X1, and it was, granted, it was their not really beta, but it was the unfinalized version.
Mhm.
And I'm not real sure why a company would send you something that isn't polished. I mean, I can understand the packaging isn't ready, but by golly, send me something that works. And it didn't. It was
I
pretty
could
bad.
I could see a company doing that if they want you to test a specific feature. Like, hey,
Fine.
we did
Fine.
this. Check
Yeah.
out this feature. Ignore everything else. But if they're
100%.
saying,
No,
you
this was
know,
a review. They're like, hey, let us know
oh,
what you think. And I'm like, it sucks. And I went back to factory default because I had it working. I finally got it working. Everything was cool. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wipe it. Oh, that was dumb. I'm going to wipe it. And then I'm going to start over and I'm going to film the process, show people how you set it up. And like in the middle of my video, I'm like, oh, and it doesn't connect. And I just said it just like that. And I'm like, by then I was just frustrated. So YIO is a company that they're developing. They're supposed to be out sometime maybe this summer. So maybe in the next couple months, they're supposed to send me a unit to review. I'm actually excited about it. It's not super cheap, but it's pretty well, I guess it's a little bit more than the Harmony Elite would be. I think it's around the 350-ish mark. So it's
what was it
kind of
called
big.
again?
YIO Remote 2. So it's the second remote that they've manufactured.
By Martin Borzak.
And then there's another one. I don't remember. I was going through like 5,000 emails the other day while I was sick. I'm like, you know what? I can't talk. I can't film. Let me go through these unread emails. And I legit had 5,000 unread emails. So I'm going through delete. And I came across this one that was from another company. And they're like, hey, Michael, we saw your videos on the YIO, and we think we've got an even better product than they do, kind of thing. And
You don't remember what it's called?
I'd have to go. I reached out to them, but I haven't heard back from them. So I'll look. I mean, I can find that. I mean, I can just look at I'll tell you what, you talk for a minute. I'll look at my.
He's throwing me under the bus.
No. Yeah, go for it, man.
So Mad
And
says
I've got some Mark comments over there, so you can do that.
So Mad says he's still rocking the Harmony paired with an Alexa. I'm doing the same thing, except mine is rocking with Siri. So I had to use Homebridge in order to do that. Homebridge is a secondary application you can run on a Raspberry Pi to get non-native Siri compliant apps into Siri. So that's been good.
Didn't take
3D Blu-ray Bunker says, I've not seen Orkiness stressless style leather recliners in home theater tours. Very comfy and crucially easy to move around. The best sweet spot. That's a good point. People underestimate how difficult it can be to move seating, especially if it's big and it's close to the size of your door frame. And that's a shout out to Valencia for designing their seats to fit through door frames. That was one of the first things my wife asked me when we ordered new seating was, is it going to fit through the door?
That was awesome.
So,
all right, I did find it. It's a company called Alanis, ALLONIS. So apparently they've got several different products. Some of them are like app compatible, but they have a product. I'll just see if they've got it on here yet. I think it's right here. It's called Smart Remote. And so apparently, they haven't sold it yet. So they're still developing it, but it's something called Smart Remote. I was hoping they had like something on here. Video equipment. Yeah, so they don't have any like details on it. Let me go back to my email, and this is what he says. So sadly, this was January of this year, and I just replied to him like last week. And so he says, I just watched your YIO interview. Thought you might be interested in Alanis LLC Smart Remote as well. He gave a link to some initial discussions in the AVS forum. He said there are some pictures at the end of that thread, so I can pull those up in a second. It looks pretty slick. He says they have a Kickstarter, first production. It's close to shipment On the software side, the much larger piece of the works based on a mature system that we call My Server 6, which they do have some information on that on their website. It's already in hundreds of commercial projects, mostly sports bars, restaurants, convention centers. So that's kind of cool to know that they've already got some software that's kind of in a mature format, so it's been around a while. So that could be very promising. So I replied to him. He gave me a link to their beta website, which I'm not going to share on this stream because they asked that, hey, look, it's still kind of under the table, but we're working on it. So they gave me some kind of like some backside, not backside, backstage access, whatever, to kind of take a look at it. So,
I see.
So anyway, so that might be an option there. So there's a company for you, Alanis. My biggest thing is I want to make sure that I can control it, that I can set it up, that I can create my macros, that I can create my own automations. I don't want to have to hire a custom integrator.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
Every
really
time
important.
I want to do something, I buy some new lighting and I want to add that to it. And I just want to be able to do it. Because to me, that's part of the fun of this hobby.
Well, and it can be stressful too, because if you put something else in new or are thinking about something new or changing something, that it's going to cost you more money because you're going to have to call a custom integrator or a dealer to be able to put that in. And that's a big reason why I've shied away from those, because it's not user intuitive. They're designed to continually feed money into the custom integrator market.
Sure.
And that leads me to another question. When you were talking about this new remote and we were looking at automation, how many people like having a physical remote in comparison to everything being on your phone?
Yeah.
I like the phone.
That's a good question. See, I don't like the phone, but I
don't have to look for the phone. It's there.
Well, there's I'm not worried about looking for my remote. I know where my remote is every single time. I put it in the cup holder, and if it's not in the cup holder, it's on the charger, period. It's where it stays. So I'm not worried about losing it, but I don't know. I've seen it work both ways, and I do like the smart kind of option. Like there were some guys in, let's see, that would have been the Wisconsin, Illinois trip. And there were several gentlemen that had their set up like on an iPad, and it was pretty slick because they had like their BEQ set up and they could easily switch, turn that on, turn it off. And so there's definitely some cool functionality there. Now, granted, those were using the HTP1 from Monoprice. And so they were using that as their kind of control panel, so to speak. So control volume and everything. So, but I don't want a big old iPad, but that's just me. So
see, I like the phone because I like that everything's in the same place, and I always lose my remote.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I have a couch right now and it's easy to lose.
So what do you do? Like, let's say the wife and the kids, do you just download the app?
It's on my wife's phone.
Yeah.
That's on my wife's phone, and then she can control everything. Since Siri turns everything on and off, all she's really interacting with is the storm to turn the volume up and down, and the shield, right? Because that's really it. So it makes things easy because she already understands how to use her phone. I don't have to teach her how to use the remote. Not that a remote is difficult to learn or not user intuitive. It's just something else that she has to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, to see what some of these guys are using. A lot of guys are still rocking
CEC's nice.
Yeah. Rocking the Harmony.
Logitechs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fix what ain't broke.
Yeah. Well, it's
well, I mean, they were probably changing it because it wasn't a big money maker for them. Logitech, I mean. So I don't blame them. It just puts a big part of the enthusiast home theater market into a bad position.
Yeah, I get it. Very cool. We got some more comments here. Let's see. All right, let's go here. Novalicia says, I'm looking at the 15A impressions and wanted to ask you about amplifier advice. I have a JC5 from Parasound. Really cool amplifier. Very powerful.
Big boy.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that will be enough.
The JC5 will be plenty for the 15As. If you are looking at 15As and you need a dealer, let me know. I'm a Martin Logan Masterpiece dealer, so happy to help you out. But the Parasound, excellent amplifiers. They do very well with Martin Logan. One of the things with the big 15As, which are what I have in my theater, is when they get above 10 to 15,000 hertz, they will drop to under half an ohm. So they're very, very hard on amplifiers. The amplifiers have to be able to take that hard of a hit and keep on kicking.
I think that JC5 had no problem with
Yeah,
that.
the JC5 is going to be okay. It's going to be perfectly fine.
It's a
So
beast.
I think that's a good choice. You made a good choice in an amplifier. It's going to be able to stick with you for a long time.
Yeah,
That's
for
a
literally for
great choice.
decades. Yeah. And Parasound's known for that, you
Yeah.
know, for lasting.
Yeah.
Let's see. 3D Blu-ray says, I've not seen Iconas. What is that? Stressless style leather. Oh, okay. I got you. In your home theater tours. Yeah, I haven't either. I'm not familiar with those.
What is that?
Pull that up if you don't mind, Ryan.
Cornice?
EKORNESS. Stressless style leather recliners. Very comfortable and crucial, easy to move around. Best suit sweet spot depending on the number of people, unlike fixed seating. Oh, I think I know what he's
You talking about these?
They're like modular.
Like this kind of
No,
stuff?
no,
This
I
is a
would
Cronus stressless. That's what it
really
says. That's what it says. I
3D.
mean,
Let us know if that's what you're talking about. Individual.
that
like,
it?
I could not see myself doing that in my
Like
theater.
this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Cronus stressless
Yeah.
recliners. That's what
I could see that in if I had a 2-channel setup, that'd be beautiful.
Oh yeah,
really,
that's
really
very
cool.
aesthetically
Yeah.
pleasing for
That would
sure.
be phenomenal. I just couldn't see me throwing 6 of those in my room. I mean, honestly, it just I don't think it would work for my setup. But those are awesome, man. Let's see. Kevin says, home theater comfort me is finally having the audio as best as I can get. That's awesome, man. But is the audio ever finished? Not necessarily. But I think you can get to a point to where you can sit back and at least enjoy it for a while. Some people just chase and chase and chase and chase for the sake of the chase. And it's, I don't know, that's not that much fun for me. I enjoy the journey. I've always been a proponent of kind of sharing, man, enjoy the journey, the process, wherever you're at. If you're in the budget stage, if you're in the used stage, if you're in the dream theater state, whatever, enjoy that process. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking what you have and going, you know, I'm just going to enjoy this for a while.
Right.
But I'm glad that you've got it to a point that, you know, that you're really enjoying it.
Kevin asks, is the Shield better than the Roku? I think a big part of that is going to be use case. The Shield, to many, is regarded as the best streamer that you can get. It is one of the only ones that will do true pass-through audio for Plex and Kodi, which makes it a step above Apple TV because Apple TV can't do that. They used to have some applications that would allow you to get around it, but I think Apple got them off their marketplace. So if you're looking for Plex and things of that nature, it's definitely the best. Now, other applications or apps, they're all different. Some apps are better on the Apple TV than they are on the NVIDIA Shield. Some are probably better on the Roku. You just got to figure out your use case and what apps you usually use and then make a determination from there. I wish all of the apps would be the same, but audio-wise, they all have different capabilities from the different hardware, depending on, like, Netflix is different on all of them. And then NVIDIA Shield, I don't think the NVIDIA Shield will do HDR in YouTube. So it's just kind of a pain, if you will. So best use case, figure that out, Kevin, and then make a decision from there. That's what I would do.
Sure thing, man. Pull up some here. Delete that one. Yeah, so my wife's kind of with you there, Zombie. My wife wants a couch in there too. But one thing, I guess if you're thinking, I was thinking of theater seating. A lot of the theater seating, even like Valencia, they're kind of curved shape. I was telling Ryan this. If you go with a kind of like a sofa layout, it's still difficult to lay flat, but I think you're talking about like a regular standard couch. So nothing wrong with that, man. Some people like Ryan, you know, he had that flat sofa.
It's still there.
That was cool for him and his kids to be able to cuddle and snuggle and just hang out. And it's definitely super cozy. So nothing wrong with that.
It is nice. Just different strokes for different folks. You got to figure out what you want and then make it happen. Some people don't want the theater seating.
Yeah, Derek, I've heard some guys using the Roomy remote. I think that's super cool. IP control versus IR, which is good. So I would imagine with IP control, it's kind of more consistent than IR. I know a lot of times uh, with the harmony, sometimes things will get out of sync, and so you have to tell it to kind of like repair the sequence,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, oh, I didn't realize that that was turned off. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's because you manually turned it on or off with your.
I think IR. I wish IR was more heavily replaced by RF. It's
Mhm.
RF is so much
Yeah,
nicer to use. It's not as directional, and then, but I think people also underutilize IR blasters. I mean, IR
yeah,
blasters make
sure,
things so much
sure,
easier. I have
yeah,
one in my theater coupled
yeah,
with my Harmony hub to
yeah,
turn my projector on and off because
yeah,
the Harmony hub is behind a wall,
yeah,
and the blaster allows it to come around the wall.
yeah,
Little dongle that you can't even
sure,
see
yeah,
that'll turn on the projector, and it's just little things like that
sure,
that again get
yeah,
underappreciated or don't get thought of.
yeah,
That makes things so much easier to use.
yeah.
But
I
IP
made.
control, I think, is hugely flexible and allows when you combine it with apps like Nick's app that he has. I don't know if you
Mhm,
have any use or have
mm-mm,
used that at all.
I'm not.
There's just so much more flexibility that you can
Yeah,
get into when you're using IP control
yeah.
than with IR and RF.
Very cool
Through
there.
X, but Kevin, do you like the streaming through the Xbox?
Oh, sorry.
They're
I
good.
tried to. I
I'm
tried to
finding the
trade.
real liking the streaming through my Xbox One now. The Atmos through Roku, not very good. You
Mm,
may want to check some of those, like the PS5 and the Xbox. The Xbox may be better, but the PS5 does some weird things with Atmos, if I remember right. And
mhm.
just make sure you go back and look at what codecs
Well,
they support and to what level.
the
And I think,
PS5 doesn't even support Atmos.
oh, well, there you go. And
Yeah.
I think this is a testament
That,
to how little content comes out of Atmos. Some people don't even realize their Atmos speakers aren't even being used.
mhm,
So if you're using like a PS5 and you think you're in a full Atmos capable theater, and they're not being used, it can be hard to determine
mhm.
sometimes if they're actually on or off
Yeah.
because of how little content actually comes through them. So I would check the actual capabilities of the hardware and the
Yeah.
apps that you're usually utilizing. Good lord.
Yeah.
Anything that Michael that makes your theater more approachable for people outside of just you? Does your
Mm,
wife ever use it on her own?
no, no. I mean, all right. So I love my wife. She's incredible, but, and I've tried to teach her, baby, all you got to do is pick up the remote and you literally, there's three options on there: watch TV, watch a movie, listen to music. I've tried to make it as simple as I can. You push that, I think she's just scared that it won't do what it's supposed to do, and then she won't know what to do. I'm like, I've got it covered. And then when you're done, guess what? There's this magical button. It's right at the top. It's off, and you just hit that, and it shuts everything off for you. And but in her defense, there are times where she'll do that, and the harmony does, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't
hmm
shut everything down, and so, or it doesn't turn everything on. Then she's calling me in, hey, something's not working. So the harmony definitely is not perfect. I would love to see a company come in and really step up to the plate and offer something because of that. What we're talking about tonight, that the comfortability, or at least making it more accessible to
Voice
other
control.
other people, voice control. I don't even have mine set up to where I can say, hey, watch a movie, or it's movie time, and it run the sequence.
hmm
You have to still do that through the remote. I don't know enough about her and how that integrates with my harmony hub. See, guys, I'm learning, man. I'm trying to be cautious and respective of your system. Sometimes, man, in my earlier years on YouTube, I would be demonstrating in my room. I would be like, hey, theater lights off. And they're like, dude, you just shut my whole system down. They'd get pissed at me, like really mad. Like, man, like y'all are like
Oh,
seriously like angry at me. My bad. So then I started reducing the volume, and sometimes I'd put the word up top. I'm like, oh my goodness, man. So
hmm
they get a little feisty there. Terminator. Oh, go ahead with that one.
Cameron says, should I set my shield to upmix? That is very dependent on the other hardware that is in your signal chain. So, and what app you're actually utilizing. I prefer native a lot of times for the apps. In the Storm, because I have DTSX Pro, so the Storm Audio ISP Mark II, DTSX Pro utilizes a lot more of my speakers than even Atmos does in conjunction with Storm XT. So I a lot of times will just leave it in Storm XT because not Storm XT, DTSX Pro, because the Storm and the DTSX Pro processor does a phenomenal job at upmixing. But it's very dependent on the equipment in your signal chain. So I wish I could give you an answer. Feel free to shoot me a text if you want, and I can maybe give you some advice. But there's so much variability in signal chains and so many different devices out there. It's really difficult to make a blanket statement that says you should do that, because a lot of times there's a best case for different scenarios.
Terminator Juice, appreciate it, man. He says, crazy that in 2019, I didn't even use my room and was about to give up on the hobby. But then I stumbled across Youthman's video, and now I've been improving my room for 2.5 years and never been happier. Dude, I love hearing people's journey. I love getting that kind of feedback that says, man, there was something that you said, something that you shared in a video that really just kind of ignited the fire again for home theater, and that you're on that journey again, man. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. And I love seeing people have their own journey with that. And so that's pretty exciting to me, man. So I appreciate you sharing that.
I think it's pretty cool that you can be a catalyst for a lot of people's journeys, right? That you get on and people are like, man, I didn't know that I can do this. And you're arming people with knowledge to be able to undertake this on their own. And that's pretty cool to be able to see, especially the journeys that those people undertake and complete.
Yeah. And to me, I mean, I'm just a regular dude, and I don't try to claim to be the guru. I don't try to claim to be the expert, even though I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable.
He knows more than he lets on.
You know, but I don't try to come across as like, you know, I'm kind of teaching down to people. I literally want to just share my experiences with people so that they can, like you said, they can take those experiences and implement them in their own setup. Or maybe they see something in a home theater tour and it kind of sparks some imagination. They're like, man, my room's kind of set up like that. My room's kind of awkward like that. And I like how they were able to overcome that obstacle. And so to be able to give that inspiration for that, I think that's super, super cool. So
Spillage Village asks, what are some of the strategies to make a non-dedicated theater more comfortable? Oh, that's a great question. So making a media room more approachable for movies, I think lighting control is a big thing. Like dealing with ambient lighting coming in from windows, being able to tone down your lights in the actual area that you're watching, so actually light control for the electronic lights. Having a display that can cope with the situation, I think, is also important. If you're doing a projector, having the correct screen, like ambient light rejecting, some type of gray or even black material, depending on what you're trying to do. Or if it's really bright, a TV. I mean, sometimes you got to make sacrifices to make things work in certain situations. And in the TV realm, LED versus micro LED, OLED against micro LED, depending on how bright it is. Because OLEDs are going to struggle in bright areas, not only because of their brightness, but also because of a lot of them. There is a new Sony coming that has a matte screen, but most of them have reflective screens, which makes them very difficult to see in well-lit areas. So it's a big part of that is equipment choice, light control, acoustic treatments, or acoustic control if you can. I think those are the big ones. I think outside of like speaker placement and stuff, but I think it's.
You kind of alluded to it. I've seen like the drop down shades. So in my room, I've got 3 huge windows over here. It's a triple sliding glass door. There's this window here to my right, the breakfast nook. So it's a really open floor plan. So if I were going to kind of make this a real comfortable setup for like movie watching, dude, I would love to implement something like that where, you know, you click a button and it's like
automated.
That would be, I mean, think about the vibe that creates. People are like, oh, dang, it just got real.
Yeah. We put in automated shades when we built this house, and we fought that at the beginning. Like, man, this is kind of expensive. But not having to deal with and move shades. Not only can you automate them, like mine are set to open at a certain time and then shut at sunset. And it's just so nice to not even have to think about it. And then to be sitting down and already be in the mood to watch a movie and not go, crap, I got to get
I
up
gotta
and go
get up
shut
and
the
do all those.
shades. And that's
Yeah.
not what anybody wants to do.
Sure.
So being able to either tell Siri to do it or to just push a button and have it done, man, automation's amazing. I
Yeah.
think people need to go
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole.
I
And if
want to
you
go.
don't
I
have,
want to do more. I really do in my theater room.
it's not as hard as people think. And it's okay to kind of trundle along and learn as you go. That's how we all do it. You just got to jump in with both feet and say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then just start plugging along and make it happen.
And the great thing, there's just so many resources now that we didn't have 10 years ago,
Oh,
15 years ago
man.
when I started this. I mean, we had the AVS forum, which is great, but
This
I'm a
guy.
visual learner, man. I'm a visual. I want to see it physically. I want to see somebody do that, how they set it up, how they go through the menu. So there's just a lot of resources. So definitely grateful. We're in a good place to be in regards to that. Kevin says, I gave my Atmos speakers plus 3 dB and another big improvement. Of course, that's with my current setup, wanting badly to complete my system to all Emotiva with the MC1 amps and speakers.
I would actually take that a step further. And if you don't already, get a SPL meter or a calibration mic like a U mic and balance match, level match all of your speakers. And that'll
do that
probably take
first.
it to an even higher level than just increasing the volume on your Atmos speakers.
And Youthman has a cool video on the importance of level matching your speakers. So go check
Makes
that
a
one
big
out.
difference.
And
Big difference.
Since Kevin said that, man, appreciate this comment. He says, I've been a big help along the way with a handful of other YouTube content creators, man. And the cool thing, man, with us content creators, like Chana popped in the chat here a minute ago. Most of us are friends, man. We really are, on and off the platform. We respect each other. I mean, there's always going to be rivalry sometimes between certain content creators, but for the vast majority, man, these dudes are cool. I can't wait to meet some of these guys in person, like the Villa Man, some of the other guys, Steven from Home Theater Gurus, and just hang out with them. But definitely, man, there's some great resources, some good dudes out on the platform.
Well, and don't hesitate to reach out and ask a question. I think it can be, people think that some of these guys aren't approachable, but worst case scenario, you just don't get a response.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
And
if you don't take your shot, nothing's going to happen. So you might as well reach out and say, hey, I got a question for you. And
100%.
then most of the time you're going to get a response.
Well, okay. So let me clarify that.
Well,
so the hard part, when my channel was like 10,000 subscribers, I answered every single comment. I mean, literally every single comment, every single email, every single instant message and DM and all that stuff. Now that I'm approaching 100,000, it's extremely difficult. Like, remember I told you I was cleaning out that 5,000 emails of unread emails. So I'm literally replying to some guys that are months old. I'm like, hey dude, I'm sorry. Just now seeing this. I would go ahead and respond to them, whether they had already moved on and done something or made their decision. And it was cool because one guy, he was like, hey dude, honestly, your timing was perfect because I literally haven't made my decision, but I'm actually about to do that. So I appreciate you taking the time to reply. But yeah, we're totally, most of us, we love the interacting with you guys. We love helping you out when we can. It just isn't always possible, to be honest with you. I get so many comments, so many emails. And so if we don't reply, here's a tip too. If you want to reply, it's a whole lot easier if your question or comment is short. I'll be honest with you. I've seen some guys write me a novel and I'm like, I'll be honest. I know I don't have time for that because you've asked 6 questions in the novel and that's going to take me a long time. And I'm cranking out comments. I'm cranking out emails. And then on top of that, we're trying to build content for you guys and make videos. And then we're working with brands and we're planning for Cedia. We're planning for M-Wave. So there's just all types of things going on. And it's not that we're trying to be unfriendly or, not get back with you, but absolutely Ryan's right, man. I mean, all of my social media, feel free to reach out
for
to
a
me,
reason.
email. I mean, I make myself available when I can. And Chris says, I accept your apology from last week. You got it, man. So, but yeah, so man, this has just always been so much fun. And kind of a little side note. So my son started a TikTok and he does on home theater, or not home theater. He does it on like movie reviews and movies and different things. And dude, he is having the biggest blast. But I'm like going through, and I love seeing him interact with his audience. There's just there's an intrinsic reward that comes when you're able to encourage and uplift and help and answer questions, and even just share common, interest with your audience. And so it's pretty cool watching him kind of go down his own road. And he said in church today, he's like, Dad, said one of my videos is, it's kind of blowing up for him. 60,000 views in a day. I'm
Dang,
like,
kid.
holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, that's fantastic, man. So he's almost at 1,000 followers on TikTok. So I know he's super pumped, but it's cool, man. It really is. We enjoy interacting with our audiences and helping out when we can. And all right, Jay Cameron, I'm glad you like these headphones. So this is totally a youth man deal. These are super inexpensive. I mean, I'm talking like $30. These are not the fancy headphones. They're called, I always have to look at it. It's like One Ida. Oh, here it is right here. One Audio. Let's see if I can get it in there. There you go. Look this up on Amazon. Super cheap, very comfortable. Nothing fancy. I mean, you can tell they're cheap plastic. And after a while, this is my second pair, but I had them for like 2 years, maybe. So, for $30 for 2 years, I think that's
I think that's a worthy
easy
investment.
investment. So yeah, man. So those, and I think, did I make a video on those? No, I know what it was. I did a community post on them on YouTube one time, because I'm like, dude, man, I mean, for $30, if you're just looking for some inexpensive, very comfortable, and they sound good. They actually have a good amount of bass, good mids, good highs. Definitely nothing super high end, and they're soft. Absolutely. They're definitely.
So I chatted with Terminator Juice last week about in-wall speakers and really appreciated that. It's always good to talk to other AV enthusiasts, man. It's all about the conversation. And this goes back to what I was saying about youth, man. We're just like you guys. We're just out here deciding we want to make content, and that's all it is. So I don't think we're any different than you guys. We're passionate about home theater, trying to share that passion with all of you, and I'm happy to have a conversation, man. My phone number's on my website for that exact reason. If anybody wants to chat or is interested in anything or have questions, feel free to shoot me a message, because this is, my wife hates it sometimes. She's like, man, you never stop. You don't stop. Because I get bored.
But that's what we do, though. I mean, it's like, when you're, I guess it's one of those things, when you're passionate about something, it's hard not to share about it. And so, well, cool, man. We're up on an hour, so I value you guys' time. We try to keep it right at an hour. Love to have you come and hang out with us for M-Wave. M-Wave is a 3-day event that Ryan and I are putting on in Lawrence, Kansas. It is July 22nd through the 24th. All the information's on the website, MidwestAVExperience.com. We've got some really, really cool things that are going to be able to happen there. Some direct comparisons, side-by-side comparisons of projectors, amplifiers. We've got, we're in communication with Sony. Pretty sure they're all on board.
They said they are.
Just don't know exactly like what models they're going to be bringing, but we're hoping maybe they'll bring
if it's like the trainings, it'll be the GTZ 380. It'll be the 5000, the VW5, the big dog 5000, which is 5000 lumens.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the 3 new ones, which is the 5000, 6000, and 7000. And then I don't know if it'll happen. I hope they do. They bring all their new TVs. That would be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah. So we may have some TV stuff there for you guys too. So.
Yep. And then we're working on ultra short throws. So hopefully we can get some LG and Epson ultra short throws. But we'll just have to see. We're trying to make this as interesting and in-depth as possible, and as much gear as we can get there, the better I think it is for all of you, because we want to arm you guys for your buying decisions. Because part of, I think, why Michael and I do this is because we want to try and make it so you guys don't have to make the same mistakes we did. Right? Don't have to reinvent the wheel, and can learn from other people that have already done it and screwed up and then decided, oh, this is actually way better. You should do this and not do it the other way.
Yeah.
But
And you're going to be able to connect at the event. You'll be able to connect with other people that have already been down that
mhm.
road besides us. There are a lot of great dudes that are going to be there that maybe they're 3 or 4 years into their home theater, and you can talk to them like, what did you do? And that's a big part of what I want M-Wave to be. I want it to be this really cool dynamic, this community versus just this massive event that has 10,000 people there and nobody knows anybody. I
Mhm.
want you guys to literally connect with each other. Reggie, I know you got to run, man. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. You've been an incredible patron as well as a support of the channel. So he's just popping in and out. He'll watch later, but love you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. But yeah, you're right, man. I think this is it's an opportunity for us to really try to create something special and unique that really I haven't seen anybody else do. We've got the trade shows, which are cool. We've got some other great events, and I'm even going to be promoting them on my channel. Audio Advice has got a cool one in
North
oh
Carolina.
man. Yeah, is it like what year?
I think it's
Not
August.
year. Is it August?
I think
Okay,
it's
I
August.
couldn't remember the dates. They've got a great one.
I'm
You
debating on
know,
going to that.
of course, I'm thinking about going. Seriously, I think it'd be really, really cool. I appreciate the work that they're doing over there. They've got an incredible builder on their website, which is really, really awesome to help you kind of draw out and kind of see where everything would fit. So definitely that's a cool feature there. But there's a lot of great stuff out there. There's Axpona. I'll be going to Cedia this year. So if you're going to Cedia, hit me up, man, on social media or shoot me an email. And hopefully we can at least, say hi
I may
and
be
just
going to Cedia,
in
so
person.
we'll have to see.
Yeah. So I'll be doing a lot of work there, but hopefully I'll have some free time. I've got some contract stuff that I'll be doing with some brands there to kind of let them share about what new and exciting things they've got coming up, and that they'll be announcing at CEDIA. So I think it's going to be a
That'll be
lot of
cool.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. I'm bringing a friend of mine that's local, home theater gamer, Brad. And so Brad's going to come with me and he's going to help me do some camera work and audio work. And I think it's just going to be a super cool event. And I also have Ike there with us as well. Ike's been a part of our daily hi-fi community for a long time, a patron of mine as well as daily hi-fi. So it'd be cool to hang out with him. And he's actually opening up his home graciously and allowing us to stay there, which will save me a
That's
ton
kind
of
of
money.
him.
Yeah. So that's always cool. And man, we just kick it and have fun, man. So Ryan, any other thoughts before we kind of wrap up here?
I don't think so. I think
Cool, man.
that's about it.
All right, guys.
Just Michael and I, being one of you guys, just putting our faces out there for the
Yeah.
ridicule.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
So
Easy ridicule this face.
yeah, same with mine. But Michael, as always, thanks for having me on. Hopefully we can
Yeah,
do this
dude.
again next Sunday.
We
I
will,
really
man.
enjoy these.
Yeah.
And
Every Sunday we're trying to do these at 7 p.m.
yeah.
Eastern Standard Time. That'd be 4 p.m. Pacific. And so put it on your calendar. I'll have some new content coming on the channel this week. I've got some reviews coming up. I've got 2 home theater tours scheduled, one this Saturday. So that'll be on the channel probably the following Wednesday. And then I've got another one, I think, the following week that I'll be scheduling. And then I've got to start heading down southeast of me, down near kind of like the where would that be? West Palm Beach kind of area, southeast Florida. And so there's a couple home theaters down there. So probably on that one, I'll have to go down there, grab a hotel, spend a couple of days, at least one night, and try to film those back to back for a couple of days.
I was gonna say something. Oh, if you guys have any ideas for other topics that you'd like
Yeah,
us to cover,
absolutely.
let me know. Let us know because we literally came up with this topic. I don't know, 7 hours ago.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any
Yeah,
topics
if there's certain
about
things you
what
want
you
us to
wanted,
discuss, absolutely, man.
I
We're
think that'd
open for
be.
those. And the
I think
easiest
it's.
way to do it, just drop it in the comments
Mm-hmm.
of this, like down below this video, not necessarily in the chat, the live
Yeah.
chat. We don't really see those, but if you'll drop it in the physical comments, and then we'll be able to.
I always think it's more interesting to talk about what the users want to hear and what's
100%.
suggested by the viewers
Yeah,
instead
100%.
of us coming up with things because then it's actually relatable things to what you guys want
Yep.
and feel like you're not getting enough of, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to provide. So if you guys have any suggestions, let us know and we're happy to deliver.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I hope y'all have an incredible week on behalf of Ryan and myself. Hope y'all enjoy time with your family, go get to work, man. Earn that money so you can get you some more gear. You know you want it. Nah, but if you ever need anything, hit us up on social media, and we'll see you guys next Sunday.
See you guys later.